Yes. So this is your international economics. Here, I hope all of you have checked your syllabus book. It's more than 1.5 page. So it's really, horrified type of thing because a lot of things are there you have to finish, and the time constraint is also there. So from very first day, I just want to start to finish your syllabus. There are 6 units basically in your international economics. International, remember one thing, international economics is actually a broader concept of microeconomics. Okay. uh, a lot new things are coming, so don't worry about that because all of them have some flavor of microeconomics. So you can say that international economics is actually the macro concept of microeconomics in that sense. Okay, we are going to apply the micro concept in case of internationally. Okay, we are going to apply our micro concept international. That how, what will happen if we apply our known concept in the international market. So basically, this is the linkage between the microeconomics and the international economics, nothing more. But so what is international economics? So name is saying you everything. It is something international. So here we are not concerned about the household, about the human being, about the society, or a single country. It is the relationship of a country or of an economy with the rest of the world. Okay, so here we will discuss the relationship, and this is actually just the starting. In the next semester also we will continue this with respect to the government side. Here we generally, obviously we need government here also. We will discuss about the government function in this market, but in this next sem, that is your last sem, there we will discuss exclusively about the function of the government in this exchange process. Okay, so international economics sometimes is called as trade paper. It is a trade. Okay, we also used to call it as a trade paper. What is your special paper? Trade. It's like that. So what it is, so you know what is trade. Okay, so before going to trade, I just want to tell you, I don't know whether you are getting the access of LMS. If you have the access, you can see us some materials are uploaded there, some classes are also there. But if you are not getting access right now, don't worry. When you will get the access of all previous classes, because I am not going to delete all those classes. These are also there. So you, if you want, you can take help of those previous classes. Okay, and the materials, some materials are there, question papers. If something is required from a particular section, that is also uploaded there. So don't worry, everything will be there once you get the access of your same 5 LMS. You will get access of all those, and definitely I will try my level best to upload regularly your classes in this LMS given the date. Now, what about the textbook? There are two textbooks. We basically we will follow two textbooks. The first one is Krugman Aufspielt. Krugman of the, don't worry, these names are there in your syllabus. And the second one is Capes, Jones and Frankel. Okay, so basically I will follow these two books. A bit from Krugman Aufspielt and a part from the Capes, Jones and Frankel. Okay, the prices of those books are around 500 rupees in the market. If you have the second hand copy, don't worry, you can use it freely. If you don't have, you can purchase it. And if you have a good bonding with your friends, then you can share. That means, say, in first person is purchasing Krugman Ausspiel, and the second person will purchase Capes, Jones and Frankel, and they will exchange. Because I will use 50-50 of these two books. So in a single, I cannot tell you a single textbook. Okay, so at least two books I will follow. And if needed, Sodastan read, and there are a lot of books that there. Chaco Leary's is there, so I will also use all those. Okay, a bit from there. But basically, these two books will be my textbook. So first one is Krugman Ausbild, and the second one is Gibbs, Jones, and Frankel. Very known books. You can get it in the market very easily. So this is regarding the book. Other than this, if anything else is needed from anywhere, when the book which is not available to you right now, so in that case, I will definitely, if I have those books, then I will take the scan copy of those portion and I will share with you in the LMS. That I will do with you. Okay. So this is about the structure of my class. Now about the subject, let me come to the subject. So what is do you have any problem regarding the structure? If you have any query regarding the structure, any name of the books or anything, you can ask. Do you have any? No. Okay, fine. So in that case, I'm going to my subject. What is international economics? As I said to you already, sometimes people are calling it as trade paper. It is a trade paper. So why? What is trade? Definitely, this is trade paper, no doubt. It is a trade paper. And so why? What is trade? Trade means exchange. All of you know it is the exchange of commodities, right? Exchange of commodities. Sometimes people are selling goods like tea, coffee, sugar, like this. Sometimes people are selling services like health service, education service, tourism service. So these are also the services which the countries are exchanging, right? So many people are coming in India to visit Taj Mahal, to visit Rajasthan. So this is what India is selling, the tourism service to the rest of the world. So here also the service is exchanged between India and the rest of the world. So trade is also considering this exchange. Okay, so it's better to say it is the exchange of commodities. So within commodity there is good and services. So it's better to say it is the exchange of commodities. Done. Now the question is very good. It is the exchange of trade means exchange of commodities. Everyone knows that. If you are asking anyone, what do you mean by trade? They can say jinish dewane wake bola hai trade. So that much will be given by everyone. But as we are the honor students, we are dealing with this paper specially, so we have to know something more now. So now my question is, why there is trade? Can you give me the answer of this question? Why there is trade? Why people are exchanging the commodities? Why? Can you give me the
Because of specialization of each
special?
country.
সেটা কি জিনিস? Specialization of what?
Specialization of producing a particular commodity.
Okay,
Like
why you
there
are
is comparative advantage of one country over another country for producing a particular. That's why trade is possible, like for taking the least cost of production or the
okay?
higher.
Okay. So the cost. Specialization, you mix up all the answers. First of all you told it is the specialization. Now my question is, how the country is getting specialization to produce a commodity, right? Why? What is the reason behind that okay, the country is very much specialized in producing these or that? What is the reason?
Because it has comparative advantage over other countries.
What is comparative advantage?
Like it can produce the same good with a lower cost of production and a better technology,
Why lower cost of production?
and because of better technology.
Yes. So the one reason behind the trade is technological difference. Okay. So that is one reason. if someone has some technological advancement because of some any reason, there is so many invention, so many intelligent persons are there, whatever be the reason, there is technological advancement in this country. Actually, look what happened before going to all those comparative advantage, specialization, or just leave that. What is the basic reason behind the trade? If you are asking one layman, he can give you the answer that it is the price difference, right? It is the price difference. Why you are purchasing a commodity from, say, you are purchasing a commodity from Bangladesh. Okay, India is a big country, lot of labor, lot of capital, so many things are there, everything is produced in India. But then still, why you are purchasing the commodity from Bangladesh? The basic reason is sorry, the basic reason is the price difference. The commodity is cheaper in Bangladesh. That is why you are purchasing from there. Okay. So why there is price difference? This is something different. So I'm going to that part. But before that, we are interested to purchase the commodity from the market where the price is lower. Do you get my point? And that is the advantage I'm getting. Say the price of a commodity in my market is 50 rupees, and the same commodity is available in another market at 40 rupees. So definitely I will purchase it from the 40 rupees market. Okay, so that is why I will purchase it from there. Now, if you consider the barter system, say there is no money, then when I am getting something from that 40 rupees market, I have to give back something to that country, that market also. So I will give that commodity, or rather they will take the commodity from me whose price is lower in my market as compared to their market. Okay, so the basic reason, if someone is asking what is the basic reason behind the trade, the basic reason is the price difference. The people are interested to purchase the commodity from the market where the price is lower. Okay, and people are interested to sell the commodity to another country where for the commodity whose price in my country is higher. Okay, so that is the price difference is the basic reason behind the trade. Now I am coming to the question. দাঁড়াও, কোথাও এটা লিখতে হবে, নাহলে হচ্ছে না। Just a minute. Can I write it anywhere? Uh, Whiteboard is coming, but I don't know where it is. Uh, yes. Yes. Now look. So what I am saying, the price is different. Okay. So if price of commodity X, I think all of you have seen my Jamboard, right? Because I have shared it. So say the price of a commodity in country A, only 3 are joining in the Jamboard. I don't know why, because I have shared the link with everyone. Adeline is there, Bidisha is there, and Pranjal is there. No one else. Please try to join. Shatabdi is also there. Okay. Say the price of commodity X. Okay. Say that there is only one commodity, right? We are very happy with the commodity. Say the price is there is a one commodity, that is X. There are two countries, country A and B, and this is the situation. Okay, the price of commodity X in country A is greater than price of commodity X in country B. So the commodity is cheaper in country B. So the people of country A, They are interested to, this is country A, huh? This is my country A. And this is my country B. Okay? So people of country A, they are interested to purchase the commodity X from country B. Sorry, I should uh, just a minute. Right? So commodity X is coming from country B to country A. So this is a trade. This is a trade. Similarly, it may happen the price of Y, it may happen the price of Y in country A is less than price of Y in country B. So commodity Y is cheaper in country A. Then what happened? Then commodity Y is going from country A to country B. Okay, so this is the pattern of trade. Simple. This price difference is the reason, because no one knows economics. Very few people knows economics. They are only concerned about the price. If price is greater, so they are going there. If price is less, then they are not going there. Okay, so this is how the commodities are transferred from one country to another country. Now my question, this is okay, everyone knows it. Any question?
Ma'am, can you share the Jamboard again?
Yes, it is shared already. 17 students are there. All I have
Um,
shared it with all.
Ma'am, my previous device was not compatible for it, so I am joining with a new
ঠিক আছে,
device. So,
আমি জানি না কি করে করতে হয়।
মানে আরেকবার একটু লিংকটা দিন।
লিংক তো কিছু নেই, আমি জাস্ট জ্যামবোর্ড ওপেন করলাম আর সবার নাম আসলো, আমি জাস্ট শেয়ার করে দিলাম, এমনি তো করলাম। If there is anyone who is tech savvy, so he or she can help me. Um, Look, here it is written, anyone in this group can find and open it.
Yes, ma'am, got it.
ওরে বাবা, এটা কি? Students are joining. So this is the reason. Okay, I'm just discussing the thing. Once you will get the access of the Jamboard, once you can open the Jamboard, it is accessible actually. If you open the Jamboard, you can see it's a very simple thing. Now I'm just telling, I'm not writing anything here right now. Huh? I'm waiting for all of you to join. Now I am asking that price difference part is very much okay. But if I am asking the question that why there is price difference, there comes the problem. Okay, there comes the problem. There we need some knowledge. Why there is price difference? Basically, there are three reasons behind the price difference. Okay, basically there are three reasons behind the price difference. What are the reasons? The first reason, reason number one is demand. Let me write. This is not in our syllabus, remember. This is the reason behind the price difference, but this is not in our syllabus. Demand. This is the first reason. I will explain one by one. Number two, what is the reason? Technology, as Pranjal said. Technology. Hmm. Technology. And the third one is factor abundance. Okay, so these are the reasons behind. I will also share the PPT also, don't worry, but these are not in my PPT unfortunately. Factor abundance, I will explain one by one. Abundance, so these are the basic reason behind the price difference, or you can say these are the basic reasons behind the trade. Abundance, TNCE, yes, these are the basic reason behind the trade. So let me go one by one. What is the first reason behind trade? I say demand. Say there are two countries. I'm giving you a real life example. Huh? Say there are two countries. One country, both countries, for example, India and say Japan. Hmm? Both are producing cars. India is producing Maruti Suzuki. Definitely, Suzuki is a Japanese company, but anyway, it is produced in India. So Maruti is basically Indian company. So Maruti Suzuki is produced in India. So India is producing car, we can say. Japan is also producing car. For example, I think Toyota is from Japan. Uh, Hyundai from Japan. Honda from Japan. So these are all from the Japan. So look, what is the basic feature of the car? So what is the basic reason behind the look? What is car? There are four wheels. There are four seats. One engine. One petrol or diesel tank. One steering. This is the basic thing, right? This is the basic thing. And what is the utility? We can travel smoothly from one place to another, right? So this is the basic feature of the car. The thing is, the question is, if it is the basic thing, then why we are not happy with Maruti only? Why we are going for Honda, or why we are going for Hyundai? Why we are purchasing um, Volkswagen? Obviously, this is from the German company. So why we are purchasing all this? We must be happy with Maruti, right? But no, we need variety. If you can remember the consumer behavior chapter, people prefers variety, right? So we prefers variety. So this is one reason behind the trade. As we need variety, as we prefer variety, as we want to move from Maruti showroom to Hyundai showroom to Honda showroom like this, so that is why these cars are coming in India. This is a trade, you can understand, na? Those things are coming from the another country to India, inside the India. So this is why there is trade. So one reason behind trade is demand. Okay, and the demand is such that the price of those commodities is not so important now. Price may be different, but we are very much interested about the features of those company. Okay, this car is, the shape of the car is very good, the sound is very good, their engine is stronger than this and that. So this is how people are comparing continuously, and they are purchasing this car or that car like this. So this is one reason behind the trade. Do you get the first point, that is the demand? Why demand is causing trade? Do you get my point? Anyone? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, then is
The
it
point
clear
is
to you?
understandable. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So I'm going to the second one, that is the technology. But before that, just give me 2 minutes. Huh? I'm just coming back. Wait. Yes. Sorry. So this is my second point, technology. Look, as I was saying that technology. Am I audible? Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello? Can you hear me? Anyone in this class? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello? Can you hear me? Is there any technological problem? Okay. So now with the technology. Look, for a commodity production, it may be possible that one country has some technological advancement and another country doesn't have it. Now, as the particular country has technological advancement, the country lot of the commodity within shorter time, within lesser resource, right? As this is the benefit of the technology, right? You can use a little bit lesser resources, you can produce a lot more commodity within lesser time. So once you are producing a lot because of your advanced technology, as you are supplying a lot, the price is lower. Very simple, supply is increasing, the price is falling. And as price is falling, everyone is interested to purchase from you because you are selling the commodity at a lower price. Okay, so this is how trade is happening. The country where the technology is advanced for some commodity, other countries are trying to purchase the commodity from this country. Why? Because the price is lower. Again, the basic reason is coming at the end of the analysis, that price is lower. Okay, but the reason behind the lower price is the technological development of this country with respect to that commodity. So this is the second reason. And based on the second reason, we have a model in our syllabus that is called the Ricardian model. We will discuss Ricardian model in details because it is in our syllabus in details. Okay. So the basic reason behind the trade, according to the Ricardo, is the technological difference. Now the third one. The third one is the factor abundance. So what is the reason behind the factor abundance? Factor abundance means, say a country has a lot of factor. For example, India has a lot of labor source. Okay, India is a labor. People are calling India as a labor abundant country. So if there is any commodity which is intensively using labor, that means which is using a lot of labor to produce the commodity, then definitely India can produce that commodity a lot because the raw material is there. Okay, a lot of raw material is there, so he can produce the commodity which is intensively using labor. And again, once the country is producing lot of those labor intensive commodity, it can sell those labor intensive commodities at the lower price. And again, the price is cheaper, so everyone is interested to purchase the commodity from India. So look, the ultimate reason is coming the price difference. The reason behind the this different. The reasons are different, but the ultimate thing is the price difference. People are interested to purchase the commodity from the area where the price is lower. Whatever be the reason behind the lower price. Okay, so these are the basic reasons behind the trade. The first reason is not in our syllabus. Second reason is in our syllabus called the Ricardian model. The third reason is also in our syllabus. The name of the model is the Hichet-Rowley model. Okay, so that model we will also discuss. So 2 and 3 that we will discuss in details. Okay. Okay, so I'm coming back here. So this is the reason behind the trade. This is just an overview of the trade chapter. Now I am going to now I am going to share my screen to start completing the syllabus. Can you see my screen now? Can you see the
Yes, ma'am.
screen? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the absolute advantage, our very first concept of the syllabus. Absolute advantage we have already discussed in our same one, right? This is the thing. So as we said in our same one, this is the introductory class. All things are coming from same one. So this is again we are starting from our same one concept. Absolute advantage, you know, the concept is given by Adam Smith. And what is the basic thing about the idea? The basic explanation of the absolute advantage is that the country should produce the commodity for which the country is more productive. That means the commodity which can be produced by the country more, the country should produce it. Simple. Okay. So, and that for that country, for that commodity, the country has absolute advantage. Where the productivity is more, the country has absolute advantage over the commodity. So that is the concept of absolute advantage. We already know, but if you forget, I'm just reminding you. Okay. Now look at this table. Just an example, not the example of that farmer rancher, if you can remember from your same one. This is not from farmer rancher, this is something else. So here it is assumed that one worker is working 8 hours per day. Okay, this is our basic assumption. There are two country A and country B. Okay, there are two commodities, commodity X and commodity Y. Okay, now commodity X, that worker, if the worker is working 8 hours in country A, he can produce 8 units of commodity X, or he can produce or he can produce 2 units of commodity Y. Now the same worker is working country B. Huh? So he can produce 3 units of commodity X or 6 units of commodity Y. Okay, so this is our table. The table is very neat and clean. You can understand what it is saying. Okay, so this is the amount of the commodity the worker can produce. Now look, it's very easy to understand. Just a minute. হ্যাঁ সম্রাট দা বলো। হ্যাঁ আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, তাহলে কি আমি ওনার মেলটাতে যেটা পাঠাবো লিঙ্ক সেটাই থাকবে তো, মানে হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ চিঠিটা, হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ আচ্ছা আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে। আচ্ছা আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে। আচ্ছা হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে। তার মানে আমি প্রিন্সিপালকে একটা অ্যাপ্লিকেশন করব, সেই অ্যাপ্লিকেশনের লিঙ্কগুলো এমন ভাবে থাকবে যে ক্লিক করলে যাতে সাইটটা খুলে যায় একদম। হ্যাঁ যা যা আছে সব দেখা যাবে। ঠিক আছে আচ্ছা আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে পাঠিয়ে দেবো। ঠিক আছে। Now look. So, according to the absolute advantage, tell me country A has absolute advantage over which commodity? বলো তো, I am asking you the question. I am asking you a question. According to the absolute advantage theory, country A has absolute advantage over which commodity?
X.
X. Why? Because 8 is greater than 2. Very simple. He can produce more of X than Y, then he should produce commodity X in country A. Oh, Baba. Just a minute. Give me 1 minute more. Yes. And similarly, country B is producing more of Y. Huh? So this is the very simple absolute advantage theorem, and it is written over here that country A can produce more of commodity X than Y. So he has comparative advantage over commodity X, and country B, with a similar reason, country B has comparative advantage over commodity Y. And in that case, if trade is happening, then country A will produce X and will sell it to country B. Country B will produce Y and will be sell it to country A. So that will be the pattern of trade according to the absolute advantage. Look at this table and tell me which country has absolute advantage over which commodity. For example, England. England has absolute advantage over which commodity?
Wine.
Wine. And Brazil? Clothes. Right? Because 110 is greater than 60 and 120 is greater than 70. Simple. This is another. Country A has absolute advantage over
Cars.
cars, and country B?
Bikes.
Bikes. Okay. So this is all about the absolute advantage. Now, I am coming to the next one, that is the comparative advantage. Now, as we say that what is the problem of the absolute advantage? The problem of absolute advantage is that it may quite possible that the country is more productive for both the commodities, so he can produce both the commodities more as compared to the another. So in that case, according to the absolute advantage theory, the country should produce both and another country will produce nothing. And so if there is any possibility of trade, there will be no trade because country B has nothing to sell. Okay, he is only at the in the he will only take from country A, nothing to give. So trade will not happen. But in reality, trade is happening in this case also. So how can you explain it? With the help of the comparative advantage. The solution is the comparative advantage. So comparative advantage theorem is given by David Ricardo, and this theorem is based on the concept of the opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? It is the next best alternative sacrificed. Okay, so this is the opportunity cost. And if a country has least opportunity cost over a commodity, then he can produce it. This is the comparative advantage theorem. I will check this, then it will help you to understand. Look, there are two countries, United States and South America. There are two commodities, roses and computer. Okay, now look, United States can produce 10 million of roses. Say a single worker is working 8 hours. So this assumption is there as before. So that worker is producing 10 million roses in United States, and within the same time he can produce 100,000 units of computer in the United States. And in case of South America, it is 10 and 30. Now if you compare it vertically, look, 10 10, so there is no comparison, both it's similar, same. But what about the computer? In case of computer, that 100 is greater than 30. So you can understand that United States has absolute advantage over hello বলুন হ্যাঁ না আমাদের ইনস্টলেশন চাই না আমরা করে নিয়েছি look now what happened in case of United States, that as 100 is greater than 10, so United States has absolute advantage over computer production, right? In case of some South America, as 30 is greater than 10, so South America is also having absolute advantage over computer production. So both are having absolute advantage over the computer production. So according to the absolute advantage theorem, both will produce computer, no one will produce rose. And when the trade option is there, there is no one to sell rose. Everyone is with their computer. Okay, so trade will not happen actually. So this is the problem of this type of situation with the help of, if you are trying to explain the situation with the help of absolute advantage theorem. But the comparative advantage theorem will, can you understand the problem of this table? Is it clear? Where is the problem of this table? Or rather, what is the problem of absolute advantage theorem with respect to this table? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the comparative, so you can understand there both according to the absolute advantage theorem, both countries are going to produce only computer, no one is there to produce rose, so there will be no trade. That will be the conclusion. But if you apply the comparative advantage theorem, you can find out the trade pattern. So as I say, that comparative advantage theorem is explaining with the help of the opportunity cost. So here comes the opportunity cost. So what is the opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is what? Just inverse. No? So this is the thing. 1 by 100. Here it is 100. In case of South America, look, it is, why you may be confused, because one is in million, one is in thousand. That is why we are getting this value, but because here it is no million and thousand, it's absolute number. So for United States, the opportunity cost of roses is 1 by 100 units of computer, and for computer, the opportunity cost is 100 unit of roses. Similarly, for South America, it is 1 by 333, and here it is 333. Hmm. So now if you compare the opportunity cost, look, 1 by 100 and 1 by 333. Which one is least? Tell me. You have to compare vertically because you are going to compare opportunity cost of a particular commodity. Huh? So that you can understand who is going to produce that commodity. So for United States, the opportunity cost of rose is 1 by 100, and for South America, it is 1 by 300 by 33. Which one is least? Which one is lesser?
United States.
Yeah. 1 by 100 and 1 by 333. Which one is lesser?
South America.
Yes. Yes, the denominator is higher for South America. So the ratio is lesser there. Okay. So the opportunity cost of roses is lesser in South America than United States. So South America should produce rose. You get my point? Similarly, for computer, it is 100 and it is 333. So obviously 100 is less than 333. So the opportunity cost is least in United States for computer as compared to South America. So as the opportunity cost is least in United States, so he should produce computer. So what will be the pattern of trade? The roses will be produced by South America and it will be exported by South America. United States will produce computer and will export it. So there will be a fair pattern of trade. Okay, so the comparative advantage theorem is trying to find out the pattern of trade which could not be done by the absolute advantage theorem. Up to this point, is it okay? Because this is already discussed, but I am just repeating because we will start on the basis of those concepts. That is why. Up to this point, everything is okay or not? I cannot see the chat box. If you want to give me the answer, then give answer verbally.
Yes, ma'am, it's okay.
So this is what written here. Look, this is another example. Two countries are there, US and UK. Two commodities are there, wheat and cloth. These are the quantity produced, remember. Here it is absolute. Look, 6 is greater than 1 and 4 is greater than 2. So US has absolute advantage over wheat and cloth. He can produce more of wheat and more of cloth as compared to UK. So US has absolute advantage for wheat production and cloth production. So according to the absolute advantage theorem, US should produce everything, UK should produce nothing, and there will be no trade. But if you apply comparative advantage here, then for opportunity cost in case of US, it will be 2/3, 4 by 6, so it will be 2/3 in case of wheat. In case of cloth, it is just inverse, so it will be 3 by 2. In case of UK, it is 2, and in case of cloth, it will be half. Now you have to compare vertically. 2/3 and 2, which one is less? 2/3 or 2? Tell me, which one is less? Because this is the opportunity cost. Remember, this part is the opportunity cost. Okay. This part is the opportunity cost portion. This part is the opportunity cost portion. So for the wheat, whose opportunity cost is least? Tell me.
US.
US, yes. Because 2/3 is less than 2. So US should produce wheat. And here 3 by 2 and half. Definitely half is less than 3 by 2. So UK has least opportunity cost for clothing. So UK should produce clothes. So there will be a trade. US will sell wheat and UK will sell clothes. Okay. So this is a pattern of trade according to the opportunity cost or comparative advantage theorem. Now tell me, look at this table. Same thing, huh? For US it is same as before, 6-4. But only for UK there is a slight change, 3-2. Again, US has absolute advantage over wheat and clothing as before. But what about the opportunity cost? Look at the opportunity cost table. 2 by 3, 2 by 3, 3 by 2, 3 by 2. So there will be no pattern of trade as such. Okay. If it will happen still, so this is the problem of the comparative advantage theorem as well. So it is not that everything is okay with comparative advantage theorem. You can explain pattern of trade, all the pattern of trade or everything with the help of the comparative advantage theorem. No, you may not solve the problem with the help of comparative advantage theorem also. So this is the problem. As the opportunity cost is same for both the commodities, obviously if it is same for one, then it is same for another as well. So if it is, then even comparative advantage theorem is not helping me to explain the pattern of trade. And the conclusion according to the comparative advantage theorem is there will be no trade. Okay, there will be no trade because there is same opportunity cost for each commodity. Okay. Okay. Any problem with this table? Any doubt with this table? Sometimes the students are asking, ma'am, if this will happen, then what will be the result? So here comes your result. There will be no pattern of trade with respect to comparative advantage. Comparative advantage theorem cannot explain the pattern of trade if the table is like this. That will be your answer. Okay. There may be trade. We don't know. But comparative advantage theorem cannot explain the pattern of trade. And according to the comparative advantage theorem, there will be no trade because opportunity costs are same. Any doubt? Any doubt? You can ask. Just a minute. হ্যাঁ বলো আচ্ছা 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 ঠিক আছে Is it okay? Is that table okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Look, when a country has absolute advantage in production of both the commodities, there is a possibility of trade unless absolute advantage is same of proportion in the both countries. Okay, so that is the conclusion. Acha, this is an YouTube link. Let me check if I can show you. I don't know. This is taken from YouTube. Sound, whether sound will come or not, that also I don't know. Telling the
Good
last.
grammar and spelling are important, but if you want to write essays that inspire,
say that you had two friends who
Can
were
you
interested
hear
in
it?
starting their own businesses.
Yes, ma'am.
Jill are both talents as pizza makers and as photographers, but they have differing abilities. Jack can take 30 pictures in an hour, but only cook 2 pizzas. Meanwhile, Jill can take 20 pictures, but make 5 pizzas in that same hour. It's not just enough to say that Jill can make more pizzas or that Jack can take more pictures. Instead, economists use the term absolute advantage. An absolute advantage means that you can do more of something during a given time. That means that in the example, Jack has an absolute advantage in taking pictures, whereas Jill has an absolute advantage in making pizzas. Jill also has permission to send as many of those pizzas as she wants to me. So, let's say that Jack and Jill set up their respective businesses. Jack's photography and Jill's pizzeria. Both are chugging away, content in their knowledge that they are working to make exactly what they should make. But then, one day, a brand new pizza oven magically appears in Jack's shop. Now he can make 6 pizzas in an hour. This means that Jack now has the absolute advantage in both pizza production and photography, and probably a few new friends to boot. But what should he do? It might be tempting to just look at the absolute advantage, but that is ignoring the costs of the items. In fact, a famous economist named David Ricardo said we shouldn't look at absolute advantage, but instead the opportunity cost of doing each. Whoever could do something for the lower opportunity cost, Ricardo reasoned, was the person who could actually do it cheaper. So let's look at those costs. Each pizza that Jack makes costs him 5 pictures, whereas it only costs Jill 4 pictures to make a pizza. Since Jill can make pizzas for cheaper, she should probably stick to that.
হ্যাঁ
Jill
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
has the
তোমার চিঠিটা
comparative
আমাকে পাঠাচ্ছে
advantage
আমি
when it
ওরকম
comes
করে
to
বানাবো
making pizza because she pays a lower opportunity cost. Now let's look at it from the perspective of photographs. Each photograph costs Jack 20% of a pizza, since he can take 5 photographs in the amount of time he spends making 1 pizza. On the other hand, each photograph costs Jill 25% of a pizza, since she can take 4 photographs in the amount of time it takes her to make a pizza. Look at the percentages, and you'll see that Jack can take each picture for a lower opportunity cost. As a result, he has the comparative advantage in photography. It's important to know that while someone can have every absolute advantage, they will never have every comparative advantage. Notice that all the examples I used above completely lacked any discussion of the money made, but instead solely on the units produced. This is really important, as it helps to explain a number of very important facts in economics that are easily misconstrued. This is because price is not a direct function of the ability to produce something. That idea helps to separate capitalism from other ideas, namely communism, that say everyone should make the same. Jill may be able to sell each of her pizzas for $15, making her $60 an hour, while Jack can sell his pictures for $3 a piece, making him $90 an hour. In case you're wondering where I got those prices from, I just made them up. Jill and Jack are free to choose their own prices based on what the demand of a particular item can justify, but we'll talk about that in a future lesson. However, something that comparative advantage definitely and clearly explains is the importance of unit cost. With more economies becoming more and more developed, a number of companies often find it cheaper to set up shop overseas. This has resulted in a number of jobs, often in manufacturing, being moved out of American communities to places overseas. Needless to say, this is a cause for a lot of angry people. It has also led to a number of politicians of all ideologies making statements from American manufacturing is dead to we should stop all jobs from going overseas. From an economic perspective, these people are forgetting the importance of units, not price, in determining comparative advantage. Sure, it costs a company $25 an hour for Americans to work in a factory, but people in Southeast Asia or Latin America could be a steal at $10 an hour. However, remember that comparative advantage hinges on units produced, not cost. Assuming the number of workers is the same, if the American factory can produce more than 5 units in the amount of time it takes the other factory to make 2, the American factory will still have the absolute advantage. In this lesson, we learned about the difference between absolute and comparative.
Chalo. Done. Yes. So these things are available in YouTube. You may find it so many YouTube things there. So you just check it once you have any doubt. I think you don't have any doubt regarding absolute and comparative advantage. So I'm coming back. Yes. So the next part, so I have finished first 2 bullets. That is the Adam Smith theory of absolute advantage and the David Ricardo's theory of comparative advantage in your syllabus. I'm going through your syllabus. So now the next one is the arbitrage and the last one is the Ricardian theory. So give me some time. Let me go to arbitrage portion as well. I want to finish as much as possible because a lot of things I have to do and I don't know when the problems will come, this and that. So many things may arise. No? Life is very uncertain. Just a minute. Yes. Yes. So now I am going to discuss about your third bullet, that is the arbitrage. Yes. So what it is? It is the simultaneous buying and selling of the commodity from different markets to get the advantage of the price difference. Basically, this has been done in the share market. People are doing it. People are doing it in the share market. Okay, they're simultaneously buying and selling depending on the price difference so that they can get the advantage of the price difference. They are purchasing at the lower price, selling at the higher price, and this is how they are getting the profit. So arbitrage is nothing but this. Now look at this example. Is it boring, by the way? No one is asking any question. Everyone is slow, sleepy. So is it okay?
Yes, ma'am, it's okay.
Okay. So look, the labor cost of production in hours. So now we are going to the wage. Labor cost of production means the wage. So in case of wine production in Portugal, the wage is $80. Okay. Okay. Labor cost of production in hours. Per hour, what will be the labor cost? So 80. And here it is 90. In case of England, it is 120 and 100. So you can understand in case of Portugal, the price is lower as compared to England. Okay. For all wine and clothing, for both the commodities, the price in England is quite high as compared to Portugal. Say the wage rate in England is 1 unit per hour and in Portugal it is 2. Then this is the labor hour you need to produce 1 unit of wine. 80 labor hours you need to produce 1 unit of wine. Per unit of labor you have to give $2, right? So what will be the cost of production of 1 unit of wine in Portugal? 80 into 2, that will be 160, right? So this is the cost of production to produce 1 unit of wine. And in case of clothing, it is 180. So 120 is the cost of production of 1 unit of wine in England, and 100 is the cost of production of 1 unit of cloth in England. Okay, so you can see in Portugal, as they are producing less, definitely as they are producing less, so cost of production is quite high there, 160, 180, and in England it is 120, 100. So this is the wage you have to pay. Okay. Now look what happened. Now look, this is very interesting, huh? A gamble sort of thing. Say a person from Portugal. So a Portugal person, he is watching. Is a, we are calling is a Portuguese, na? So that person is watching that cost of production for both the commodities in his country is quite high. Okay, this table is showing him that cost of production for wine and clothing is very high in his country. So what he will do? Say he has 1600 units of money, 1600 units of money he has. Okay, he can export and import. So that option is given to you, that you can export, you can import, you can do anything with your money. So what he will do? He will purchase 10 units of wine from his own country. Okay, he will purchase 10 units of wine. Look how he is making profit. This is the thing. Arbitrage means what? As I say, this is the selling and buying of the commodities so that you can make the profit. So how that Portuguese is making the profit? He is going to purchase 10 units of wine from his country and he will export it into England. Okay. So per unit price of wine, he will export. That means he is going to sell it in England. Okay. Now what is the price of 120? 120 is the price of wine in England. বুঝতে পারছো কি না? আমি আমার মতো বলে যাচ্ছি, কিন্তু তোমরা কি বুঝছো? This is the wage rate. You are asking the price according to the wage, na? You are asking the price according to your cost of production. So cost of production in England for wine is 120. So the price of wine in England is 120. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So when he will export or he will sell the 10 units of wine in England, he can earn 1,200 rupees. That is the money he is earning. Okay. And how he is purchasing that 10 units of wine? He has 1,600 rupees. That was his capital. And the price of wine in his own country is 160. So he has 1,600. He is spending it to purchase wine only. So that is how he is getting that 10 units of wine. And after getting the 10 units of wine with his all money, he is going to sell it in England. And after selling it in England, he is earning 1,200 units of money. It may be dollar. 1,200. That is he is earning from this export. Now what he has done, he will purchase 12 units of clothing from England. Okay, look, the price of clothing is 100 units in England. $100, I should say, $100 in England. He has $1,200 by selling his wine in England. So he is just investing his income in clothing. How much clothing he can purchase? 12 units. So he has purchased 12 units of clothing from England and he is coming back to his own country with this amount of clothing. So that means he is now importing. He is purchasing it from England and he is coming back to his own country, that is in Portugal. Now, when he is selling that 12 unit of clothing in his own country, look, what is the price of clothing? 180 per unit. And he has 12 units. So 12 into 180. So that will be 2,160. That is the money he is earning. So what was his capital? His capital was 1,600, right? And what is his income now? 2,160. So what is his profit? 560. So this is how he is getting that. This is actually the arbitrage. Is it okay? Now he can spend that. This is his profit. Look, this is the profit. This is the profit. This is not his income. His income is 2,160. Within that 2,160, 560 is his profit. So he can again invest this through the same process. He will purchase wine from his own country. He will export it in England. After selling it in England, whatever income he will earn, he will invest that income in England clothing, and he will come back with this clothing in Portugal and he will sell it out. So this is actually a recurring process, and he will increase profit. It's a multiplier sort of thing, right? So he will increase his profit in each and every stage. So this is called arbitrage. If you have any queries, look, this is something very interesting. If you have any query, you can ask.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
Ma'am, why did he buy like 10 units of wine from his own country? He could have bought it from England only because it was cheaper, and then he could have sold it in his own country. Then again, with that money, he could have bought clothes from England and he could have sold it in Portugal. Then why did he buy from Portugal, like the wine? Because its cost is higher than that of England.
Okay. No, he cannot come in England to purchase the commodity directly. He have to export. So this is the policy of his country. That may be the policy of his country. That first of all, you have to earn the foreign exchange. Na? This is the foreign exchange you have to earn. That 160 is the Portuguese currency. That is the Portuguese currency. I don't know what is the currency name, but this is the Portuguese currency. So you have to go to some other country with the commodity, not with money. That is why he has purchased. Yes, what you said, that is also correct. He can do it. He can purchase what you are saying, that he can purchase wine from England and he will come back in Portugal and he can sell it at the higher price. But look, then what happened? He can sell it at the higher price. That much is okay. But with that money, when he will going to purchase the clothing from his country, the price of clothing is relatively higher in his country as compared to England. So he cannot come back with that clothing to England to sell it out. He has to stop here. That will be the only step.
Mama said that with that money he can again buy clothes from England, and then he could have sold it in Portugal, like by exchanging, like
Okay. So purchase wine, sell it in Portugal. With the profit, purchase clothes from England and then again sell it in Portugal. That is what you are talking now.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, that may also possible. But here what happened, you are not giving anything to England in terms of commodity. You are only taking from England, right? In the first phase, you are taking wine from England. In the second phase, you are taking clothing from England. So what you are giving? So it is not a trade. Trade means exchange of commodities. So commodity is not exchanged here. Nothing is coming from Portugal to England. So this is not the trade. That may not be allowed by your country. Or even that is not allowed by England as well. Because you are not giving anything. You are just taking advantage of my lower price. So England is not going to allow that Portuguese to do that. You have to give something to me as well. You are taking the advantage of the trade. You are taking the advantage of the exchange of commodities. So you are exchanging me. Here you are exchanging. You are coming England with your wine and you are going back to your country with the clothing. So commodities are exchanged. Is it okay?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. This is for you, yes. But what about the rest? I cannot hear any other sound. So this part I have said to you. Difference in the demand condition. This is what I was trying to write in the Jamboard. The difference in the demand condition, that is the reason behind the price difference. Difference in technology, that may be the difference with reason behind the price difference, based on which there is Ricardian model. And difference in endowment may be the reason behind the price difference, based on which there is Heckscher-Ohlin model. 2 and 3, these are in our syllabus. So up to this point, I want to share for today only. I should stop here. In the next class, I will start with the Ricardian model. So before that, if you have any query, you can ask. Now I have a lot of time. So if you want to ask anything of today's class or future class, anything, you can ask. You are very, this class is very cool actually. No questions are coming from this class, so I'm very happy. Anyway, if you have any query, please ask in the class.